Halifax, a world at war. We return again to this jewel-starred planet after last week's successful assault by the Battle Brothers to silence the Ork guns harassing the Anvil. But now, Mad Doc is ordering a minor war boss, the Snapper, to assault the last northern bastion at Orks Drift. The Snapper has been given a mighty Ork warhost to assault this position. It was an old medical outpost in the northern reaches of Halifax before the war began. However, the garrison's commander caught wind of the burning of Halifax and had ordered his men to use whatever provisions they could to make ready a formidable defense for these marauding bandits to the north. 102 Orks will be facing off against the combined and limited reserves of 53 human defense forces. The battle began with the shooter mob across the riverbank opening fire at the troops behind the makeshift palisades, felling one of their number. The mighty war machine TikTok stomped forward to the river, buzzsaw whirling in the morning sky. The border team, unprecedented up to this point in the campaign, locked in for once, managing to fell many of the approaching mob from the south, blasting apart 6 Orks in the process. The troopers at the broken wall followed up the assault with a rain of deadly laser fire, felling 2 more of the foul greenskins as they approached. Bozo's boys rushed up towards the main wall, followed up by the Gretchen reinforcements. The troopers manning the wall leveled their rifles, felling 2 of the approaching clowns. The squad put in reserve moved up to their position in the stone redoubt, ready to hold for any breakthrough that may come. The troopers in the redoubt opened fire, killing several more Orks. The Gretchen mobs swoop around to the south from the windmill. The troopers behind the barricades leveled their las rifles and opened fire, slaying several of the approaching Gretchen, breaking up the attack, but not stalling it. The veteran squad opens fire at TikTok as its lumbering hull approached the river, scoring a single wound against the metal beast. The Gretchen take their chances and successfully cross the river, splashing ashore on the friendly riverbank. Bozo's boys, seeming that it's pretty safe, because the Gretchen made it, also crossed the river without much problem. Troopers behind the wall continue to rain down shots on TikTok, punching another hole in the mighty beast's armor. The Orks in the south, finally fed up of getting pummeled with mortars and laser fire, rushed the broken wall and smashed headlong into the first line of the defense warriors. In the bitter struggle for the wall, as Ork Chopper cleaved through human flesh and flak armor and bayonet-punctured, thick alien hide, they managed to fell 6 in the ensuing melee and lose 2 of their own in response. But the valiant defenders could not hold against such an onslaught, and although the HCF managed to pass their morale test and pull back in good order, the first mob of Orks had successfully breached the compound, and the foul Xenos scampered over the broken wall, ready to burn Orks Drift to the ground. The jetpack boys by the windmill blast up behind the screening of Gretchen, and as the Snapper holds his position, he overlooks the battle. As the Ork horde rushes to ensnare the encampment, the HDF forces could only hope that they can hold out long enough for reinforcements to come. The troopers from the wall break off from reposition, leveling their rifles at the Ork flooding through the breach in the barricade, felling 2 of their number as they storm through. The Orks, unfazed by this, simply shove another boy through to take the fallen's position.
What are you waiting for, lads? Get in there and get stuck in.
The troopers in the redoubt harass the orcs as they stumble over the wall, felling 4 of their number. The last 2 boys are either too brave or stupid to run.
I'm gonna gut me enemy.
The Gretchen rush the walls, slamming into them with nearly a full mob of grots. In the ensuing melee, they manage to stab to death 6 of the human defense warriors, bringing the squad to under half strength. And as they land 0 hits in response, the troopers break and are cut down in kind. The Gretchen have also breached the compound.
Easy knife work, kiddies.
The mighty war machine TikTok swades into the river and passes its quality test, safely making it to the embankment on the other side. The shooter squads unload everything they have, all 20 rifles pepper the mighty war machine, dealing a single wound in kind. Bozo's boys launch themselves at the forward defences, absolutely annihilating the human defenders in a foul sweep of combat, breaching the compound and making good on their promise to burn this village to the ground.
Loot, burn, chop, kill!
The shooter boys, assuming that the river's safe, wade into the depths. However, they fail their quality tests, and 8 of them are swept downstream and drown in the river. The 2 that just about manage to keep their footing pass their morale test and drag themselves behind TikTok on the opposite bank. The mortar team reposition their guns at the oncoming orc horde, letting loose another volley of deadly mortar rounds, smashing into the oncoming Bozo boys and blowing apart in the process. The troopers in the redoubt follow this up with a volley of las rifles, felling a single orc. Bozo's reinforcements arrive just on the outside of the wall, getting ready to make their advance into the compound. The Gretchen, seeing that maybe they don't want to get blown to bits, decide to sneak around to the cornfields in the south. The Storm Boys blast over the hamlet and smash straight into the second line in infantry, absolutely slaughtering every last defender without suffering a single loss in response. The Orcs are now firmly in control of the perimeter of Orks Drift. And as the Snapper looks on at his job well done, their plan is truly coming together. The human defense forces must fight like men possessed if they wish to survive this battle. The mortar team continues to blow apart the Orcs, annihilating all but 4 of the Jet Boys, reveling in their victory, but these boys are too bloodthirsty to break and pass their morale test.
There's still Ubies to kill.
The Bozo boys get cut down by another withering hail of gunfire, slaying all but 3 of the greenskins, and they promptly lose their nerve and become shaken.
Oh, I didn't sign up for this.
The Gretchen continue their sneaky little trip around the side of the outpost, hiding alongside a depleted squad of boys and getting ready to make their move on the redoubt also. The Gretchen pass through the river unscathed, enter the compound, but get a little bit too caught up and forget to shoot their guns at point-blank range into the Umis. The survivors of the wall defenders reposition into the heart of the redoubt, leveling their 4 rifles. They blow apart 2 of the Gretchen, but fail to shake the squad. TikTok, stumbling over the 2 battlements, fails to make its charge, and the Storm Boys make up for this in short order, flying into the veteran squad in the redoubt, and in the bloody melee, only a single veteran is killed, whilst the Orcs are promptly clubbed to death by the defenders, who know that the only way out of this is death. The second squad of Bozo's boys throw themselves at the redoubt, crashing headlong into the now tired veterans. But uncharacteristically for the Orcs, they only manage to kill 1 of the defenders, whilst the human defense was killing a single Orc and leaving the battle at a stalemate. Both sides break off and brace for the next round of combat. The Grots get peppered again with another volley of las fire.
Oh, Mook, protect us!
The veterans, thinking maybe TikTok's a bit more of a threat than the Grots, blast apart at its armor, scoring 5 direct hits, And TikTok, the Phalanx morale test becomes shaken, engines spluttering and weapons fizzing from overheating, and the mighty war machine can do nothing but cry out frustrated. The surviving Ork boys throw themselves into the mortar team, but neither side can land a decisive blow, and the Orks are forced back towards the wall.
You're good at fighting. I like that. We'll get you next time, obey.
The shooter boys take cover against the northern ramparts as the Gretchen finally hurl themselves into the defenders, but going straight into the 4 men that position themselves in the entryway, slaying 2. They also take 2 casualties in response. With the close combat being another stalemate, the Gretchen break off and prepare for another attack. Getting frustrated at the human defense forces' insistence in surviving, the Snapper bellows out to his boys to have another go, and the battle for Orks Drift hangs by a knife's edge. The mortar team kick off 3 more rounds at point-blank range, blowing apart 3 more Orks and shaking the squad.
No mock this. Oh, there's no use dying here, boys.
The veterans level their rifles and continue to blast apart the grots, smashing apart 3 of the blighters in the searing heat of laser fire. The grots, undeterred, failed to break.
It's gonna take more than that to rout us.
The sneaky gits rush the redoubt, crashing headlong into the southern squad that had repositioned there earlier. Managing to cut down 2 in the process, they take horrific casualties.
Please, no more kicking. Oh.
The broken mob retreats back down the hill, cowering in their boots and hoping they don't get shot to bits by the vengeful Umis. So as Swigaloff charges his men again into the redoubt, this time crashing headlong into the veterans. In the brutal melee, a single veteran is killed, whilst 4 grots promptly get crumped to death. The squad, undeterred, breaks off and forms an orderly queue, ready to go back in again. The grots in the northern ramparts charge the veterans again, felling another one of their brave warriors, but lose 2 of the road in the process and absolutely bottle their morale test. The squad is promptly caught and clocked to death. The soldiers in the southern sector of the redoubt gun down the 2 remaining Ork boys, and the soldiers in the centre advance forward and gun down one of the Gretchen. The shooters cook off one last futile volley of the machine guns, doing little but peck up the ruins. And as the battle draws to a close, the Snapper can do little else but cry out in frustration as the Humies manage to hold Orks Drift by the slimmest of margins. With casualties mounted on both sides and the day drawing to a close, the Orks fall back from their assault. It is a hard-won victory indeed, and although an exchange in forces is felt here, the troopers at Orks Drift, without reinforcements, will surely be overrun in due course. But to the south, the decisive battle of the war looms on the horizon. Join us next week as the defenders that have rallied in the starport sally forth into the Ashen Wastes for the largest vehicle battle of the campaign, the Halifax.